Since the dawn of time, the armies of heaven and hell have waged an endless war. Drawn to the conflict was the Charred Council, an entity bound by ancient laws to preserve order and balance. It held that any great power, unchecked, threatened the very fabric of the universe. In time, heaven and hell came to honor the Council and its laws, for none were beyond the swift and terrible justice the Council's enforcers, a fearsome brotherhood known as the Four Horsemen. Amid the turmoil, the first humans emerged. The Council foretold that these weak but cunning creatures would someday be integral to the balance. Thus, a third kingdom was named, the Kingdom of Man. By order of the Council, a truce was forged between heaven and hell. The Great Pact was bound by 7 seals, to be broken at the appointed time, when man's kingdom stood ready for the end war. A battle that would bring balance and determine the ultimate fate of the 3 kingdoms.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my new project. This is Darksiders with me, the Doctor, and we're thrown right into it. It's the apocalypse. It's literally the end of days. Earth is being attacked, as you can see, by some vicious demon spawn. And here we are. War. First rider of the apocalypse, ready to take on these bastards. So, combat in this game. Right in the deep end, let's go for it. As you can see, I'm pressing X repeatedly. When you've done enough damage to an enemy, certain enemies, B appears above their head. If you get close to an enemy during that time and press B, you will do a finishing move on them, like so. Which is very cool. Now, fighting larger enemies, we have a little trick up our sleeves. We have Chaos Form. If we press LB and RT, which is a really awkward trigger combination, we unleash War's mighty Chaos Form, and we can pretty much, well, you know the phrase, pick on someone your own size. We can become this guy's own size. Scythe demons, no match for us when we're in Chaos Form. Down he goes like that. So, So, with that, the way opens for us, and yes, so you see in the top left is health. The green bar, as it depletes, is your health, and when it gets down to the bottom, it will go back up to the top, and one of those skulls at the top will go, so they're kind of like extra units of health. Once all your skulls are depleted, then when your health runs out, that's it, you're dead. We saw some angels flying overhead briefly, but they seem to have fucked off for now, and there is some kind of golem being restrained by chains over there. Everything's very much going downhill fast, as you can see. Well, I mean, this is what one would expect from the actual literal apocalypse. There's tiny humans running around as well. And of course, the apocalypse is a battle between heaven and hell, so there are angels here as well. Even they are no particular match for us here. Chaos form, as you can see, is extremely powerful. There are restrictions on it, of course, heavy restrictions, but this is the tutorial, so no such restrictions apply. Let's finish off this guy and wallop! Ooh, poor bastard. That did not end well for him. Did one of them survive? Oh, one of them did survive. Oh, ho, ho. Well, I completely missed him with 2 swings there. There we go. So something weird is going on there. You'll notice that we lost 2 of our heart containers, skull things. And we no longer have the ability to use chaos form. You will notice I will say things like that quite a lot because as I've mentioned this in the run-up to this game, but I'll open with it now. This game is very much similar to Zelda games. As such, your health takes the form of little skulls that take, if you gather 4 lifestone shards, you get an extra one. What does that sound like? Yeah, if you gather 4 lifestone shards, you get a new lifestone. That's what they're called, lifestones. And it's very much like, Zelda stuff in that way. The thing which is actually less Zelda about this, as you may have noticed, is the combat. Yes, you do have L targeting and that kind of thing, as I'm doing here, holding L to focus on one enemy during combat, though you don't have to do that. War will very much focus in on whoever he's physically facing at the moment. The combat is a bit more kind of oh, wow. A lot of things going on here. It's a bit more kind of Prince of Persia. What's the one I'm thinking of? Not Dark Souls. What's that thing with the devil? Devil May Cry! That's it. That's the devil thing, obviously. It's literally got the word devil in its name. So yeah, it's kind of very much combo and button press based. At the moment, we don't have access to many combos, but as the game goes on, you get a lot of kind of Mortal Kombat style button combos for different types of moves. Good lord. So, now that the game's introduced us to combat, it now throws us a little bits of exploration. What you notice there is demonic growth, which is basically the equivalent of kind of like vines or something that you can climb. Let's just finish off these. I don't think these things ever even get names. They're just minions, I wish you'd reverse them as. Once we take care of them, we can get up here. So you can climb, as you can see, relatively slowly. If you press RB during climbing, you can jump around. Basically, like, I'm using it to here. For example, you just go whoop and jump up in kind of one, and you can just jump like that repeatedly. I was going to say, here's an angel to fight, but he appears to have been got by a very large winged demon. I completely forgot that happened. Anyway, horizontal pipes and wires, as it says, can be traversed like this. You move across them quite slowly. Watch like with demonic growth, if you hit RB, you start swinging across them much faster. Oh, they're very hand-holdy in the tutorial for this game. They very much don't want you to accidentally go back the way you came. So they do stuff like destroying everything the moment it's behind you. Oh! So, enemies can also still attack you on demonic growth fine, and your sword still works fine. So if you press up, you'll hit forwards, left, right, down, you'll attack in that direction. Oh! Get off my bum! Can I do a kind of a roundy attack? No, I can't. Oh! It's a bit harder to fight them, but generally a good hit will knock them off. And actually, fuck it, can't be arsed, I'll just... They can fight me if they want to. Oh. A lot of, ooh, hello. A lot of bad stuff is going on here. The apocalypse is very much in full swing. I believe it's never actually said, but it's quite clear the city is New York. Like, that is very much the Empire State Building. But officially, the city is unnamed in the game, as are any of the kind of Earth references. So, here's a very Zelda thing. You'll notice that was the door we want to go through, and it's sealed. If we get to kill all the enemies in the room, the door becomes unsealed. It's also telling us a short-range dash, useful for evading incoming attacks. If we're moving at all and we press RB, we dash in that direction. That can be used to go forwards, left and right, sideways. Sideways is the same as left and right, but yeah. It's the equivalent of your kind of like jump dodging in Zelda games, and it's very useful for remaining mobile in combat. Because combat in this game is all about not being surrounded and not being trapped in corners and remaining agile. You can also see there's a combo counter in the corner there. So it's on 2 in there, 3, 4, 5. And that will kind of become a little... For now, it's cool to see how high you can get it, but it does have a specific relevance later in the game. As you can see, I am doing L targeting, but strictly it's not necessary. You can just hack whatever, and I'm moving the camera freely there. That's the nice thing about using those, like... finishing blows with B. While you're doing them, you can position the camera to basically line up what your next attack's gonna be. That was quite a way down there. And finally we have a moment to rest. Well, we don't really. Well, if you were listening to what it kind of said about the various, in the intro, about the kind of like, you've got the Kingdom of Heaven, the Kingdom of Hell, and the Kingdom of Man. Doesn't look like the Kingdom of Man is going to come out of this particularly well. There seems to be really heaven and hell with man trapped in the middle. So, one thing you can do here is pick up cars. If you press the right stick in, you go into aim mode, and when you're sufficiently aimed, press the right trigger, and you will throw whatever you're holding. Equally, if you just left L targets, there we go, and press R, it will hit automatically. Also, once you're holding something, you don't actually have to throw it, you can just use it as a melee weapon by swinging with X, and just van everyone who's in your way. Ooh, nice finishing blow on some of these angels. That's a quite cool one where you kind of rip their wings off. But you need, as I say, you need to rough them up first before you can do a finishing blow, and even then, it only kind of works, as you see then, when it's kind of like briefly stunned. If you miss the opportunity to do the finishing blow, then you just have to kill them normally by just dealing damage to them like so. One more to deal with here. Let's try... Oh, nope. Okay, I was going to do a flip saw, but no need, apparently. Right, let's proceed onwards. I think we are getting towards the end of the tutorial there. Notice a big... What I was going to say is notice a big red skull on the minimap in the bottom right, which is, of course, an extremely positive place. We should head towards that. Let's just grab a police car for company. No, that's ridiculous, essentially. So, here, there is a large lava pit opening up, which is definitely a normal feature of New York.
Impossible. Abaddon. What is this? Where are my brothers? This cannot be. The final seal.
My lord!
How did this happen? The seventh seal was not broken!
Abaddon! What in heaven's name have you done?
I answer the call.
Well, a lot of stuff happened there. Introduced 2 named characters and killed one of them off, which is Abaddon has about the shortest lifespan of any character in any game ever. This is our first boss, Straga. So, we fight him basically by throwing cars at his face. Launch 2 cars at him, and he lands with his face in front of you there. Now you get a chance to lay into him a little bit with your sword. And then he goes back in. With your knowledge of Zelda games, how many times do you think we'll have to do that cycle before it'll be taken down? So now he does this attack where he grabs the earth underneath us and starts shaking it around. Make sure you're not on the ground when he kind of dislodges it, so bam, there he does a thing. Just make sure you're jumping there, and you're fine. Keep an eye on your health as well. You can die in this, absolutely. It's a relatively straightforward boss fight because we are still in what officially counts the tutorial right here. He's going to slam the ground, wait until the last moment, and then use RB to dash out the way. I suppose I should mention at this point, I am playing this on a computer. I just prefer a gamepad than using keyboard and mouse. For certain kinds of game, like if it's a shooter or something like that, aha, he's thrown cars, perfect. He should throw at least 2 cars at you each time, because you need to hit him with 2 cars in order to get his face in place. For certain games, like I say, like first-person shooters, I quite like mouse and keyboard because you can be more accurate, but games like this are quite clearly designed for a gamepad, and playing them on mouse and keyboard just feels awkward. It's the whole thing of a mouse and keyboard is designed to use a computer, but a gamepad is literally designed for playing games, so I find it more comfortable over long periods of time. So everything you'll see will be on screen will be relative to an Xbox controller, but I'm playing this on the PC. This is the oh, by the way, it looks like you can hit him there, but you can't. Yeah, this is actually Darksiders Warmastered Edition, which is the recent remake, which I believe came out on the newer console, so Xbox One and PS4, I think, but definitely on PC. But the original one was on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And then weirdly, the sequel was on Wii U, but not the original one. They did that with a couple of games, don't know why. Anyway, launch 1 more car at Straga, and launch another one. And I must say, just before we kill him, I must praise the design of Straga, because he looks fucking fantastic. Unfortunately, he ain't gonna look great for long, is he?
The law has been broken. And so have you, horseman. The law is clear. When the 7th seal is broken, 4 horsemen shall ride forth to punish the wicked, be they sons of men, lords of heaven, or the dregs of hell. All upon the earth will be judged, and the pact forged anew. You forget your post, horseman. You forget the law. No call was given, yet the destroyer marched, and there you were found, under his black banner, if the claims are true. To hell with your claims! The seals were broken! I was summoned! Then where are the other horsemen? Were they not summoned as well? The 7 seals are hidden, as they have been since the pact was forged eons ago. All of them intact. There was no call. You aided the Dark Ones, broke a sacred covenant that has doomed mankind, and threatened the balance. Do you deny it? When I rode, heaven and hell were already at war. Abaddon was there. He knew something. Abaddon fell, fighting off the chaos you unleashed. I fought powerless against the demons, and still you accuse me? Your defeat proves nothing. Likely the Destroyer cast you aside when he was finished with you. You have defiled the law, horseman. You will be punished. I serve only the Council. Only the balance. As the horsemen always have. Send me back. I will punish the ones responsible. How? What hope do you have against the Destroyer's armies? You are powerless. Then I will fail.
and the demons will have carried out your sentence.
Very well. You will return to the earth, but you will be watched. Come forth. The Watcher is bound to you. It will ensure your loyalty.
Remember that, or I will really get under your skin.
Rise, war, and arm yourself.
So, welcome to the Charred Council, sinister-looking 3 disembodied spooky voices, and the exposition of the game. War stands accused of falsely triggering the apocalypse, and we will spend the remainder of the game attempting to clear our name. That rhymes, so it's definitely true.
Chaos Eater. The angry blade thirsts for destruction.
So, even though we were using it in the tutorial, we still obtain Chaos Eater, our sword, or not. And at this point, well, it wouldn't be a Let's Play of the Doctors were it not for an overly elaborate visualizer. So there'll be a number of elements on this that will become added to the visualizer as they become relevant, but this first one is weapons and gear. And, as you can see, we have obtained one of 11, I think? 11, I think. Which is Chaos Eater, War's legendary blade, also stripped of its former strength and powers. Oh good. Keep the visualizer straight up, because we get one of our first powers. This is Blade Geyser, one of 4 Wrath powers in the game. If you look up in the kind of like top left there, you will see there's now a bar underneath the health bar. That is your Wrath bar, as the game is suggesting if we press it. Oh.
The souls of the dead will be your currency. Some enemies are more easily bought than killed.
Well, we'll learn about currency in just a sec. As the game is playing, if we press start, this brings us to our gear and Wrath screen, so we can basically map Wrath to one of 4 directions and then use it as a quick thing. So we have level 1 Blade Geyser. This will all make sense more and more as the game goes on. Let's map it so you can map it to Y, B, A, or X. Let's map it to X. And then in-game, you then hold LB, and then if I were to press X now, it would unleash Blade Geyser, and it would drain 1 unit of Wrath. As you can see, we currently have 2 units of Wrath. And as you can see, especially from up there, there is space to expand that quite a lot. You'll also have noticed, perhaps if you're very smart, when you look at the visualizer, parts of it are broken up. The powers one is broken into a smaller section and a larger section. That's because there are 2 distinct subgroups of powers. There's Wrath powers and there's non-Wrath powers. So a number of the visualizer elements will do that, and it's because there are distinct subgroups within that thing. Anyway, as they said, the souls of the dead will be your currency. Let's go up to the spooky portal. So, souls manifest in 3 forms. Blue souls for currency, green souls for health, and yellow souls for wrath. You can find souls in chests, you can find them by destroying items, and you can find them by killing enemies. Different enemies and different ways of killing enemies or destroying objects will yield different types of souls.
Seek the demon Vulgrim. Few can afford his services, but perhaps you can strike a bargain.
The council confers with demons now, does it?
Since the truce was broken, some demons have fallen from the Destroyer's favor. Vulgrim is one such outcast. He has long sought an audience with us.
How long have I been here?